Welcome to Don't Know Much About Football,
the podcast where football meets finance and foreign policy.
And the commentary comes with culture. With your co-hosts, Carlo Marcello,
Sarah Hamilton,
and Ian Stoner. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Don't Know Much About Football. This week, I know something. Scotland is in the World Cup.
Woo!
You can see my shirt to prove it. Just arrived fresh from the wax paper factory, apparently, because Fnatic seems to use about 100 times more wax paper than it does actual kit. But I'm excited, and I thought we could talk about what this means for me, for Scotland, for everything in between. I don't know what else you guys want to add, but it is very exciting. So,
well,
Sarah,
Ian, can we just start out with Philippines never makes the World Cup final, so I don't know what that feels like. One day maybe it'll be interesting. But what does it feel like? Scotland doesn't make it every World Cup, right, Ian? How many times have they made? When was the last time they even made the World Cup?
So the last time that Scotland made the World Cup was 1998. I was 15, going on 16 in high school, watching the World Cup on a school trip. And it's hard to believe how long it's been. And I looked at this, there were 3 players on the entire squad at the match that were alive the last time Scotland played.
Crazy. So talk us through your day, watching the match, and what was it, the emotions of that. I know you watched it late. So
I watched it late, and I honestly got to it it wasn't an afterthought, but my day was not built around it. It should have been.
Was that on purpose, or was that because you're superstitious?
No, it wasn't on purpose. I just had everyone else in the family was sick, and so I was busy doing stuff and trying to look after the family, and it was I was aware that it was happening. I knew the score, as it was happening and after the match, but I didn't get to watch any of it until late at night when everyone was asleep. And that was fine. It would have been amazing to be in a pub. I saw some of the video of people in the pub watching, or just with other people. So by the time I got to watch it, it was 10 o'clock at night. I was tired, and I could not scream and shout because I live in a very small house and everyone was asleep. So I was silently enjoying the match with a beer in my hand, and that final few minutes or seconds of the match, I was just standing in front of the TV and I was starting to actually cry.
Oh,
it was so emotional.
Beautiful.
And I think it was partly enhanced by having to just be quiet, and so all of my emotion was in my tear duct. It was quite incredible.
And it was quite the match. I mean, quite the roller coaster of emotions.
Seriously. And even knowing the result, it was, I can't prove a negative, but it was highly emotional watching it, even knowing the way it was going, because it was so dramatic. It was one of those matches that was memorable almost from end to end. I mean, literally with the goals at 3 minutes and at 90, whatever it was, 95, 96 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was a big memory. And, we'll see how it goes next year, but just getting to this point and realizing what we've been missing and how hard it's been to be a patriotic fan for almost 30 years, knowing that it's been, and over time, it's more and more, we have not been at the international level that we feel we should be for so long. So it almost becomes a thing that you just kind of accept and are resigned to, and so comments about, we lost again, but knocked out again, that's a very, it can be disheartening. But this, I think, was just a moment of epic joy for millions of people.
What, Ian, do we expect of the traveling Scots to the World Cup, right? If I'm an American and Scotland's playing in my city, what should I expect of these traveling fans? Is it just a bunch of pinochle and maybe some teetotalers? What is it going to be like?
I think you know the answer to that, Carlo, but And we talked about this. I remember when we started this this show, we were following the Euros, and I think overall the Tartan Army, as we're called, Scottish fans, are loved, but there are obviously elements where you get plenty of people who are too drunk and too rowdy, and I think in the past there's probably been some problems. But I'm not saying that we're quite as loved as the Dutch, but I think my feeling is that the Scots are up for a party, but also quite fun. What do you guys think? Have you had experience of roving bands of Scottish warriors?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. I think that I don't think if Scotland was playing in my city, if they were in, well, they wouldn't be because we're not hosting a match. But if we were, and they were, I would be excited about it because there's a lot of energy that the Tartan Army brings, and also it would be very good for the economy. I mean, the pubs would be full the entire time.
They would be drunk dry.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
no, this is good.
If the Irish and the Scots go through at the same time.
Oh my God, we just had the Irish here for the rugby. They played the All Blacks, and it was, I mean, the pubs were drunk dry. It was kind of fun, actually. But yeah, I think Carlo, if you were to encounter Scots in LA, you'd be happy about that.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking up also, Ian. I also remember that '98 World Cup. Because it was Korea, Japan, right? It was that 2-country World Cup, and I'm just looking up. Scotland played in the group stage. They didn't make it out of the group stage. Okay, for those wondering at home, how far Scotland won last time, they didn't make it out of the group stage. They lost to Brazil, they drew Norway, and they lost to Morocco. I'll just say that all those 3 teams are, pretty good to this day. Is Norway qualified?
They're in.
They're in, right? So Norway's back in.
Sure.
Morocco's got a top squad, actually.
Yeah, they're good.
So I think that, and not to say that's going to be the same group, but Ian, are there any countries you hope Scotland gets, or you think Scotland's going to be sort of like the kind of bottom of the group team that everyone's going to look to pick on, or maybe not, maybe the mid-table kind of fighters? What do you think?
It's a good question. It's hard for me to know, and not having enough. The World Cup is different, so I feel like the level is high, the pressure is high. If we can, I don't know. I'm interested in your thoughts on the performance of the match, but the last one. But thinking back, I mean, I remember playing Brazil. The fact that we scored a goal was a huge moment of pride, and we walked around and said,
"Cool,
yeah, we lost to Brazil, but it was 2-1. It wasn't 4-0. It could have been,
Germany."
So, and obviously Norway, a really stellar
They're going to score a goal.
Yeah, they might have a guy who can score goals.
Right.
They might have a guy.
I mean, Norway's way in this particular World Cup. So I think it's hard to tell where we'll be. I obviously can't speak for everybody, but I'm not going to have huge expectations, because I think it would be too easy to then be disheartened, because we don't have that history. It's not like we're Portugal or Norway or even Morocco with a kind of a track record of performing at a very high level. So I think just if we can do well, if we can not come bottom in our group, I think that would be
right.
Yeah,
that would be something.
Yeah, I said the other day to Brian, I said, I just hope Robbo stays healthy so he can captain his side.
That would be
to
amazing.
the World Cup. Like
Andy Robertson. That's right.
That would be the cruelest turn if somehow he was injured. Which I
hope that's
knock on all the wood. Yeah.
Yeah. That's Andy Robertson. A lot of Liverpool a lot of Scottish Liverpool players. It's just like, when you check the history, which is super cool to see the links there, actually. So it's kind of just like, just returning to prominence.
Ben Gannon Doak, who I think he was injured in the match.
He was, after he was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
he did really well, and then had this horrible injury. So
yeah,
it will be interesting. But what's your take? I mean, you I think you saw the match. Do you feel that Scotland won that? Did Denmark lose it? Was it just, what was the sort of the overall assessment from your perspective?
That's a good question.
Was it a lucky day and we just had, the stars aligned and we had
Well, I
some
think
good
you
breaks?
always need that. I think you always need luck on your side. But I thought when McTominay scored that goal, I thought, holy shit, they're on their way. First of all, that was amazing. But then they just kind of defended for a long time, and then I got worried. But somehow in the last really harried 20 or so minutes, they seem to kick it up a gear and realize we don't want to go in the playoff. And obviously they knew that going into it, but they found something, and it was incredible. And can you imagine having been if you were in Hampden Park that night?
Oh,
I had to have been shaking.
I saw the being in Hampden Park would have been epic.
Yeah.
But being in any pub in Scotland with the match on would have been almost as epic. I suppose I think they had the attendance was a few hundred people below max capacity. I don't know if that's because they didn't sell all the tickets, or on the day a few people had the flu and didn't come or something. But it was packed, and it's a big stand. So, yeah, the and I like it because it's so open and sort of kind of shallow. So you get this sort of roar and the sound and very different from, say, Anfield, which is much more vertical.
Yeah. I was in a business meeting. I was traveling for a client during that. So I had it on, and it's far enough away that they're not going to listen to this, so they won't know. But I was watching it on the Nintendo version of, I couldn't watch the video on my computer. So I was just watching the, the ESPN updates and trying my damnedest not to yell, swear, hit the computer. It was something. It was quite the match. Carlo, did you watch? I know you were.
I did.
You were
I didn't
also in
watch
transit.
It. I know. I've been in transit. I didn't watch it. I'm curious if you think that Scotland looks better than the U.S. men's national team.
Well, I don't know. They look pretty good in that 5-1. They certainly have more experienced guys.
Yeah. If you look at the Scotland squad, folks, if you look them up, there's some longtime professionals on the squad that played at some big clubs, which to Sarah's point, I think just gives that experience thing. And I think that's going to be a lot of this World Cup. There's going to be a lot of senior players, if you will, like just older players who are just really excited. I think they're also excited that it's going to be in the United States. And so they're just excited it's going to be back here and get to show the Americans what they're up to. I think a lot of people are really interested in showing us here in America, like what the sport's about and what they're doing for their country. And so I think, Scotland getting in, even I didn't see the match, but I know who Scott McTominay is. I know who Andy Robertson is. So I'm looking forward to seeing them stateside and giving it all for the country badge, as opposed to the club badge this time. It's going to be fun. But I do think Scotland, just I'll say it looks like sort of like mid-table strong. If you look at the squad, just sort of like just by like the roster and those basic stats, you think to yourself, this is a mid-table squad. They're strong enough to get out of the group stage.
They've also been together they've also been together for a long time. I mean, this is a 5-year project here. So that's nice. I think that counts for a lot, as opposed to like all the chopping and changing of rosters.
Yeah. And I think what I'm hearing from people who know more than I do is that Steve Clark is
the manager.
The manager is.
I was going to ask about him.
And that has maybe made the difference, is having somebody who has been with them long enough, got them to the right level, and just seems to be able to do the business.
Yeah.
Which is maybe not something we can have been able to say for a long time.
And Scotland is a country of how many people, Ian? What's the population there? They're drawing from how much talent?
About 5 million people. And that's actually been pretty static for my entire life, because there's people like myself, so many of us leave, whether it's to go to London for work or international for work. So that I don't know how many Scots there are, people who were born in Scotland who are alive today, but there could be 10 million of us globally.
Got it. It's not a large number to be able to draw and not get an automatic, you don't get automatic qualification. You had to play through, basically the toughest division to get a spot in Europe. And, this country of 5 million got in. It is amazing. It's like if your little town where you grew up in was able to play NFL football and they made it, deep into the playoffs, Glen Ellen, Illinois, Raiders, if you will. Made it that far. That to me is that's just amazing, these tiny countries. And then I look at my own country and I'm like, how's our squad doing with the new manager, and supposedly all these resources, right? And so
Carlo, I appreciate the validation and boosting my sort of national pride. It could come for America too one day if you stick in long enough.
I know we just got to, there's one or two people in this country, I think, that are athletes if we can just find them for this sport,
That's right. So one day, America,
one day,
the heights.
Sarcasm aside, though. So Stephen
I'm just
Clark
happy
has
we
been
didn't
the
have to
manager
qualify.
Yeah, we didn't have to qualify. America never qualified.
Thank God.
That's good.
No.
Yeah. We'll just automatically get in.
So we don't yet know who's playing who, right?
Not ever. No, we don't know who's playing who yet.
The only thing we know is that, I think Mexico's Group A, Canada's Group B, and the U.S. is Group D.
Okay.
As in Delta. I think that's all we know.
Got it.
Because they're the host countries.
Yeah, but otherwise, we know, there have been a number of nations who have qualified, but they don't know where they go yet, and because we're still in qualification, so there's that playoff that will happen, I think, in March, which is a long way away. But it is. And then they'll do the draw, I suppose.
It would be very interesting to see. I'm looking at the list of qualified countries, and there's some incredible squads on the list here. But then there's plenty of other countries. It just depends on how the groups
luck of the draw.
Can we get? I don't want to pick any countries in particular, but some of the non-obvious ones. So if we can avoid being in a group with Germany, the Netherlands, Spain,
that's right.
And the ones
Argentina,
or Argentina, I don't know if
Brazil,
if we were in with say Uzbekistan, Jordan,
yes,
Ivory Coast. Yeah. I mean, actually, well, some of these small countries are. I think Ivory Coast is probably quite big, but less obvious
footballing nations. That's right.
Yeah,
or just ones that are they're all footballing nations, but how dominant are they and how sort of strong is their team? So that
I think
it would be great to see, just as while I do have a Union Jack behind me next to my American flag, it would be great to see if Scotland could maybe
play
do better
England
or beat England.
What if they beat England in the World Cup? That would be, I think, some
forever
people might have
bragging
something to say
rights
about that. Yeah, there might be
Mm-hmm.
people in England that even say something about that. So interesting. But Ian, I'm wondering, when I think of, Sarah knows I really care about, perfect weather for sports. Okay. And this is where, Sarah and I can have our casual disagreements on key sporting topics. And this is one of them. But when I think of the Scots playing football, where do you think they want to play? What city do they want to land in America? Do you know what I'm saying? Do they want to be in the Miami?
I think they want to land in Canada.
They want to land in Canada?
I think they want to land in Canada.
Vancouver?
Canada over Mexico City, probably, for sure.
Yeah.
Is what you guys want for them? Okay.
Mexico City's going to be hard for anybody because of the elevation. That's going to be tough.
Yeah, they got elevation to deal with. I don't know. Is that, the squad? But the squad is better in the cold, right? So it's put the squad in the cold, put them outside.
Summer in Vancouver and, those cities are not freezing in the summer. So I think it's a false choice.
No, you're right. It is summertime. No, you're right.
But it's not going to
be.
But it's not going to be 80 and 100% humidity. There are some places in the U.S. where it's going to be hot as hell.
Houston,
and we saw that this morning. We saw that this summer with the Club World Cup. And so I think if you're from a place where it doesn't get that way, you probably want to be somewhere Vancouver is really nice.
San Francisco would be ideal.
Well, for you, definitely.
For you.
Summer in San Francisco will be
it's like nice winter in most places.
October, November, kind of maybe February in Glasgow.
No, it's true. The Mark Twain quote holds about summers in San Francisco. So let's all that's a fact.
So I think that'll be a factor for us in as well as who we are lined up against.
Yeah. Maybe Curacao, the smallest nation ever to qualify. 155,000 people.
Curacao. Got to have some underdogs to support,
Yeah. So anyway, I think it's there's a lot more that we could say, but I think we'll just have to wait and see how the groups shake out. And
very exciting.
Pay close attention to our squad, and as you said, Sarah, watch out for injuries and all the rest of it. But it's epic, and it's hard to. We should get some other Scots on, because I think then we could get more sort of what does it mean for you and what's it been like. But that sense of deep joy, but also relief and a sort of pride that, and a, I think walking around for 30 years with something either unfulfilled or unreleased emotionally is very tough. And imagine an entire nation and national psyche.
Yes.
Going out of that
good point.
So that's a large part of why, tears were flooding from my eyes silently last Tuesday night.
Listen, I look forward to the Tartan Army coming to America, and if there are things we know that they're going to spend a lot of money on, let's start investing in those things.
Orange wigs and
orange wigs,
we should
tartan somethings.
We need to get.
They'll bring their own, but I think some beer sales maybe.
Yeah, beer sales got to go through the roof in that city.
Yeah, we should invest if we want to invest there. That'd probably be a good spot.
We should organize a party, actually.
That's a good idea.
That's a good idea. We should be thinking about that.
Match watching parties.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. Stay tuned, folks. We'll put some. World Cup's going to be fun.
Absolutely. All right. That's all we have time for, but we'll catch up on Scottish football and all things international soon.
Congratulations,
Cheers,
Ian.
Thank you. That's a wrap for this episode of Don't Know Much About Football, the podcast for all fans, new and seasoned, who want to grow the sport and learn together.
If you like our podcast, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen, and support us on Patreon. Your feedback and support grow our community.
If you're a part of a club, league, or fan community and want to be featured, reach out via our social media or our website at don'tknowmuchaboutfootball.com.
Thanks for joining our journey. Tune in next week for more passionate football stories.
Until then,
keep the football spirit alive.